Okay, next part of the body video tutorial. Last time I showed you the routing of the bottom chambers on the bottom layer of the block board. I've done a little bit more drawing onto the wood so you can see basically what the next course of action will be. I've drawn where the oak insert will go on the bottom layer, which is that part in the middle to about where the tremolo chamber will be. I've also marked on where the tremolo will go and fit into and onto the back of the oak core. As you can see, I've drawn the semicircle of the tremolo opening. As you can see, the tremolo routing on the bottom layer goes back quite far underneath this, and this is the same as on the original. This is due to the reason that if there wasn't a recess back underneath, you wouldn't be able to take the tremolo out. I'll show you what I mean. This is the main tremolo block, which will sit just on the back of the oak, and these are the two springs. As you can see, they're quite long, the bolts, which fits them into the retaining plate which sits on the back of the oak. The retaining plate, you can have two different versions, one what screws directly onto the back of the oak, or one which is fitted in between the two layers. For ease and reliability, I've decided to go for the plate version, which sits on the back. Anyway, as you can see, to remove the tremolo, you'd need to get these springs and bolts all the way back to lift it out. If this was not done, you'd have a lot of difficulty trying to remove it, and probably will not be able to remove the tremolo at all for any work like spraying or the veneer or whatever, and it could become quite messy. So this will be routed out probably to the same depth or a little bit less than what the chambers are done. Moving on to the top layer of the guitar body, as you can see, the tremolo chamber cut needs to be straightened up a little bit and aligned, but a lot of work on this will go on underneath what you can see. So if I turn this over, you can basically see the chambers. Now on the electrical chamber, the part behind the switches and the pots is actually routed back and undercutting, which you can see here. This little part here is where the body actually screws together. There are two on each side, which you can see there. And this is the routing back of a tremolo chamber, which I was just explaining to you will enable you to take the tremolo out. And if we look at the x-rays here, these are available on the forum, and as you can see, I'm not sure if you can see that very well, but you can see the general outline of the chamber, which is hidden from view. You can see the little part sticking out here where the screw is holding the body together, and you can also just about see the recess of the tremolo chamber. There are various features on here which you probably will be interested in seeing and wonder what they are, and when we get to them I'll explain them to you. You can also see the electrical chamber is lined with copper shielding tape, which shows up on the x-ray very nicely. You can also see on this image the bolts and the springs, and also on this you can see the two lines going past underneath the knife edge there. You can just see them lightly in grey against the darker grey. This is to enable you to adjust the springs and bolts. Obviously when you tighten them, they go into the oak, so eventually you will need a hole behind it, and these two lines are the two holes which go behind the tremolo retaining plate. Firstly, I'm going to route out the tremolo shape. I have a tremolo block with me so I can check the depth of how far to go down, and I'll tell you what the measurement is after finishing the routing process. Okay, after 2 to 3 passes with the router, I'm suitably satisfied that the tremolo will fit and have no problems with movement inside the cavity. You can see here I've measured it, it's about 10 millimeters deep. That will give you enough clearance off the bottom of the tremolo block, and also movement backwards and forwards, rocking off the rocking plate on the top, or the knife edge. I'll just demonstrate here by putting on the top of the body. As you can see, there's quite a lot of clearance there from the top, and when the yoke is put in, I'll show you how I do it, because I don't think it's the original way of doing it, but in the depths of my mind I think I have seen it done on a couple of replicas, but I'll show you when that gets to it. Next part of the routing will be the top of the body, and the chambers on that as well, including the tremolo cut back, which I'll show. Okay, onto the top layer of the block board. As you can see, it's all marked out, the chambers and the undercuts to the electronic chamber and the tremolo chamber. I'll probably start work on the electronic chamber, then move on to the tremolo, and then the bigger area of the hidden cavity. Here you can see an overview of the top layer of the body. This is after one pass of the router. It's about 4 millimeters deep at present. Do another 4 millimeters off the top, and as you can see, it's all quite close around the tremolo chamber. You can see the little sticking out parts for the screws, which will keep the body together. And I'll show you what it looks like after the next couple of passes. Okay, routing all done, as you can see. The electronic chamber, as you can see, now undercuts the top. As you can see, the ply is very, very thin. There will be a supporting leg on the side, as per the original, which there are various pictures around the internet of. The tremolo chamber, you can see, now undercuts, so you can get the springs out. I've also left an excess bit of material so you can screw into to keep the tremolo cavity cover in place. Also, the underside of this, there you go, you can see the tremolo shape, and then the underside, as you can see, now all hollowed out, the tremolo chamber and the hidden chamber and the undercut on this side here.